Greetings! Michael Didier here, and I'm glad you're here, friend. We're going on a journey through Torah. Ooh, don't you love the way that leads to life? It's an exciting journey. We learn more every week, and each week, really, we have ideas going on to ideas. Our dear Creator has set up His Word so that we learn piece by piece, line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. And it's an amazing journey when we take the time and the diligence to search through the scriptures as one searches for silver and fine gold. You know what? Silver and fine gold isn't laying around to just be picked up. Well, it is if you come to my blog. But that's not how I had to get it. I had to get it very deliberately over the course of many, many years. 15 now. It's the journey that leads to life. Thank you for joining me today as we go through this. I want to do a review from last week. Why? Torah is understood in the context of Torah. We'll see that demonstrated in the very first verse that we're going to look at from the material that we covered last week. Let's go there now. This was, we left off in 9, around 18. Look what it says. It says, now Noah's seed, who went out of the ark, were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And Ham was the father of Canaan. Oh my goodness. You know what? Something's going on here, I think, to lead us away from something that is true. But let's take a look at this first verse. 19:18. First verse we covered last week. Now Noah's seed. This is Beni. It gets translated as the sons of Noah. Usually Beni gets translated as the children of Noah. But they're in a pinch here, aren't they? Because they know they're all men. And so, because they're all men, they're going to make it the sons of Noah. Well, folks, we're going to see, and we saw it last week, and I'm going to show you again right now as we go through this introduction, that seed and sons are almost synonymous. Sons, though, are your direct descendants. My sons, Wes and John, are my direct descendants. But my seed is Wes and John and all their sons and their sons' sons. Multi-generational, always men. Ooh, that has such profound ramifications, especially when we start talking about Israel's seed. Do you know what? Jacob's seed and Israel's seed are not the same group of people. Ha-Adam's seed and Israel's seed are not the same group of people. When we're talking about seed, we're talking about men, multi-generational. But when we're talking about Israel's seed, we're talking about spiritually born men, the Ezra men. Ooh, we haven't really learned about the Ezra men yet, but I talk about them all the time on my blog. We're going to get to them in Exodus. We'll see that. We're going to see it even Genesis 17 and 18. We're going to see how the spiritually born men are born at the time of life. Ooh, my goodness, so much fun things to look for. But remember, this does not say the sons of Noah. It says Noah's seed, Beni. Beni always has a proper noun. If it's going to be translated as seed, it always has a proper noun in front of it. Sometimes it will say my son. That's okay. But it's going to be set up differently in the Hebrew. The next thing, look at what it says, 19:19. These three were the seed, Noah's seed. From these, the whole earth was populated. Wow. What did I say? Line upon line, precept upon precept, understanding it in the context of the whole. This is what we covered last week. Noah's seed. And from these, the whole earth was populated. Well, we're going to go to 10, and we did go to 10 last week. We're going to finish 10 today, and it's all about where the 70 nations of the earth came from. Oh my goodness. They came from Noah's seed. What did Yehovah say? Look what he said. This is Yasher. And Noah was a holy, just man in his generation. And Yehovah chose him to raise up seed from his seed upon the face of the earth. Oh my goodness, this is so profound because we're going to see something's going to happen with Ham. Perverted seed. It wasn't the righteous seed that came from Noah. It's got something wrong with it. Well, that's a great segue into what we're going to cover next. Look what it says in verse 22. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father. What does that mean? He saw him nude? No, we saw last week that it means one of three things. He took his father's woman. He took his mother. Remember, that's not always the same thing because you get rid of your woman after she's born you a son. She's not your woman anymore. But she's the son's mother. So, in this case, Naamah, the mother of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, really, Japheth, Shem, and Ham, is the same woman. So, father's woman, thy mother, or thy father, saw the nakedness of his father. This is Ham that did something to his father. It says saw in this verse. Right here, saw. But look what it says down just a couple more verses. So Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done. Seeing isn't doing. Had done to him. Then he said, look what it says. He cursed Canaan. Canaan? Why Canaan? Well, look at this. Canaan is the fourth born, if you can go by these orders. We're seeing you can't really go by these orders. It says Shem, Ham, and Japheth every time. But it's really Japheth, Shem, and Ham, isn't it? Look it. He cursed Canaan, but Canaan is the fourth born. What did Canaan do? Why not curse Cush? Well, we found in Yasher that there was something more going on. Let's take a look at what we found. Here it is, Yasher 37, 35. 35 to 33, that doesn't work. Oh no, 35. Must be 33 to 35. I guess is what it is. Let's do this and knock that out. All right. It says, for Moses remembered how Abram had made his servant Eliezer swear, or Abraham made his servant Eliezer swear, saying unto him, thou shalt not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan for my son. Okay, why are they saying Canaan? I think it's because they're the land that we're dealing with right now. Let's continue with this thought. Also, what Isaac did when Jacob had fled from his brother, when he commanded him, saying, thou shalt not take a woman from the daughters of Canaan, nor make alliance with any of Ham's seed. That said the sons of Ham also. It's Ham's seed. Don't make an alliance with any of Ham's seed. Okay, we're talking about the daughters of Canaan because they're in Canaan. Okay, but look what's going on. For Yehovah, our Elohim, gave Ham, the son of Noah, and his sons, and all his seed, look what it says, as slaves to the sons of Shem, and to the sons of Japheth, and all their seed after them, for slaves forever. For servants forever. They use these loaded words. Servants. And look at, this is what he says. He says, verse 25, then he said, cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants he shall be to his brethren. So what? Are we supposed to think that Canaan now is going to serve Cush, Mizraim, and Push? Or Put? That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense at all in light of what we're going to see in the next couple verses. Take a look at what it says. I'm going to slide this up. He goes on, and he said, blessed be Yehovah, the Elohim of Shem. Do you hear what's going on? Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you. Why did Ham do what he did to his father? Why? What could have led him to do that? You know what? In Torah, it doesn't make any distinction between the differences of Shem, Ham, or Japheth. I mean, here it does. Japheth or Shem is the blessed be Yehovah, the Elohim of Shem. Shem has Yehovah as his Elohim. But then it says, God enlarged Japheth, and may he dwell in Shem's tent. In other words, may he dwell under Shem's authority. We don't know it yet, but Shem's going to be the one that's going to get the rod of Elohim given to him. He's going to be the Melchizedek. And as the Melchizedek, he's leading his brothers and all of the sons are the seed of Ham. Look what he says. Blessed be Yehovah, the Elohim of Shem, and may Canaan, there it is again, Canaan be his servant. Okay, this is not Canaan. This is the seed of Ham that is supposed to be his servant. Now, let me backtrack just a little bit because I really got ahead of myself. I wanted you to understand why it was that Ham potentially did what he did. We saw in Yasher, I said there was no difference in Torah. We saw in Yasher that when Shem and Japheth were growing up, let me see if I can find it real quick. Maybe I'm not going to be able to find it. I'm sorry. Well, I'll just tell you the story. When Shem and Japheth were boys, they learned the Torah, it says in Yasher, from Methuselah, and Noah. Ham is not even mentioned on the wicked side of the flood. The first times Ham is mentioned is when he and they are all coming out of the ark. And we found out, oh man, I really want to find that deal for you. We found out that Ham stole the garments that Elohim, Yehovah, had given Adam and his woman, Hava. But it doesn't say Hava, it says Adam and his woman every time. He gave them the garments. The garments were given from Adam to Enoch, from Enoch to Methuselah just before he died. And when Methuselah died, Noah took him. Noah brought him into the ark, but Ham stole him. Tells you a couple things about Ham, doesn't it? He didn't sit at the feet of Methuselah and Noah. He stole the garments. And now he is potentially raping his father. Good man? Bad man. Good seed? Bad seed. Is it possible that Noah knew that Ham had stolen the garments? I think it is. And if it is, it would make sense to me after Ham had done something so wicked. I mean, we're talking wicked. Raping your father? Even if it's raping your mother. That is so heinous. Yehovah knows that he's got one of his seed that is out of line. And what's he going to do? He's going to take all the seed from that seed and put them under subjection to his brothers. Makes perfect sense. Gotta control the seed. But this seed will not be controlled. These garments that were meant for righteous men made people strong, made men strong. And Ham stole them, and he gave them to his son Cush. Didn't tell his brothers, and Cush didn't tell his sons about it either. Cush didn't tell his sons or his brothers. What were the seeds of Ham? Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Canaan. Didn't tell them. He gave it to Cush in secret. Cush didn't tell his brothers, the same guys, nor any of his sons. Remember, he had 4 sons before he had Nimrod in his old age. And he gave the garments to Nimrod when he was 20 years old. Wow, so many things going on here. Well, let's move to the next chapter. So we have Shem leading, Japheth following Shem, dwelling in Shem's tent, and Canaan being a servant to both, there it is, 26 and 27, to both Shem and Japheth. But is that what's happening? Let's go to the next chapter. I know this is a long introduction, but these are important things that I want to drive home to you. So now we're going to talk about how the 70 nations were formed. We don't know it. It never says a thing about the 70 nations. I found it after I was done. I realized something, and I'll show you what that is at the end. But now look at how this chapter starts. Now this is the genealogy of Noah's seed. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Here it is. Look on the left here. I want you to see this. Now these are the generations of Noah's seed. Bani, Noah, Noach, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and sons. So here's the seed of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And then it says, and sons, Banim. This is sons, Banim, the plural form of Ben, were born to them after the flood. So interesting, because now it's calling them sons. The sons that Shem, Ham, and Japheth had are going to become the nations of the earth. At least some of them. But look at the very next verse. It says, Japheth's seed. Here it says, the sons were born to them. But the very next thing says Japheth's seed. There it is. Seed, Yaphat. Japheth's seed, B'nai Yaphat. So we see what? We see that sons are seed. But multi-generational seed at that. Take a look. Because we're talking about the sons of Japheth. And then he says Gomer. Then he talks about Gomer's seed. And he names all men. Then he talks about Javan's seed. And he names all men. You see what's going on here? And then it says, now this is perversion. Again, you can't trust the English translations. You just got to dig deeper. And if something seems odd, look for the answer. This is talking about coastlands and these coastland people. Coastland people, where do they even get this? The E, this is the word that they're using right here. E. It means they have island. But if you look into the ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible, it means place. A where. Place, concrete, where, abstract. I put, these are the places where the Gentile nations, the nations, look, they make it Gentiles. Let's look at it here. I'm going to move it up for you. Same word twice. Gentiles, this is Goyim, and this is Goyim. But they translate one as Gentiles and the other one as nations. Does that bother anybody? Bothers the heck out of me. These are the places where the nations divided. Look what it says. In their lands, everyone according to his language, according to his families, in their nations. In their nations is what it says. But look at here. This is for Japheth's seed. Then it talks about Ham's seed. It finishes the same way. According to their families, according to their languages, in their lands and in their nations. Are you starting to see repetition? Look what it says at the end of Shem's seed. According to their families, according to their languages, in their lands, according to their nations. Same verbiage for all of them. What are we talking about? This is the genealogy of Noah's seed after the flood. How does it finish? These were the families of Noah's seed according to their generations in their nations. And from these nations were divided on the earth after the flood. Ooh, it's so interesting when you see the big picture and how things are being laid out. Now, last week, I stopped. Am I getting ahead of myself? Oh, I gotta just say a couple more things before we start the new material. I know it's almost a half an hour already. I'm sorry. Sons of Cush. Remember, he gave the garment to Cush. Ham did. That he stole from Noah. He gave it to Cush. Didn't tell Seba. Didn't tell Havilah. Didn't tell Savda. Didn't tell Ra'amah. Didn't tell Savtakah. Kept it a secret. But later on, he had someone born to him in his old age. He saw that he put on the garments. And it says, here's what it says, New King James. Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. Is that what it says? Look what it says, the very next verse. He was a mighty hunter before Yehovah. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before Yehovah. Well, we're going to see he's going to make altars to Yehovah even. What's up with that? Look what it says. The beginning of his kingdom. Whose kingdom? Who's he supposed to serve as a son of Ham? You see what's going on here? They paint Nimrod to be a good guy. Nimrod's not a good guy. Everything that he does, his very name means rebellion to Yehovah. Here, I think I even put a note in here. Well, actually, this is what I've got to talk about. Look at, they said he began to be a mighty hunter on the earth, a mighty one on the earth. But look at the word that they're using. It says Cush begat Nimrod. He became, okay, that's Hayah. To become, he became Hayah. Here, there's Hayah. But look, it says where do they even translate this from? The word is, they say kalal. Look at that. Het, lamed, lamed. But that's not the word. It's the het, lamed. So what is the word for het, lamed? See, you can't trust Strong's numbers. He doesn't put always the same number, so you got to check the spelling of the Hebrew word and make sure they're using the right number with the right word. Well, here's a case where they're not. And look what it is. Here it is. This is ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible. Okay, here is het lamed. The word is this word right here, kal. Kal. Let me slide it down here. Here. Kal. Look what it says. Properly exposed, hence profane, common, profane, unholy. What is Nimrod? He is the profaned mighty one, the profaned Gabar. Really, Gavor. Remember, there is no hard B. It's V, soft. Gavor. But there are lots of Gavor on the earth. Here, I think I had. Yes, I did. We talked about the giants. They were Gavor, mighty ones. We talked about Nimrod being the profaned mighty one. I should probably fix that. I'm going to have to get that when I edit this. And then, look what it says about Israel's seed when we came out of Egypt after keeping a Passover. And Israel's seed, Israel's seed, the spiritually born men, they're called Israel, not Jacob's seed. Israel's seed, spiritually born men, journeyed from Ramses about 600,000 on foot that were translated men. Men! How come they translate Nimrod as being a mighty one instead of Nimrod being a man? Do you see a problem here? Remember who translated these scriptures originally? King James men, do you think maybe that's where some of these things came from? Folks, we've been lied to. We've made the good guys look like the bad guys, and the bad guys look like the good guys. It doesn't say men. It says 600,000 mighty ones on foot, besides tough, besides children. Doesn't even talk about the women. They're never included in Torah. They're left out. Oh, so much to learn. And this business about before Yehovah, we saw that was even polluted also. The word that we're talking about is this word here, panim. Panim. Look what it means. This is, again, ancient Hebrew lexicon of the Bible. Turn. To face or to turn directions. The face. Also the presence of one through the sense of being in the face of. To the face of, in the green here. To the face of. Okay, they translate it as before. I think he is in the face of Yehovah. A profaned hunter in the face of Yehovah. He is making Orah. He built an altar. Put animals on it. I think it must be in the next chapter. I don't see it in this chapter right offhand. But he is putting animals on this altar. Yeah, I don't see it right offhand. Why? Is it possible? You know what? Can my neighbor, who doesn't know a thing about Yehovah, doesn't know a thing about anything, can he build an altar? Well, of course he can build an altar. He can say he's doing things for Yehovah, can he? But is he? No, no, no. Is it possible that Nimrod is doing this so that he can appear righteous before Shem's sons and Japheth's sons? Who's supposed to be the leader right now? Shem has got the rod of Elohim. Noah said that Ham and Ham's seed were supposed to be under Japheth and Shem. Really, I should say Shem and Japheth, because Shem is the one who's leading the family. Japheth dwells in his tent. Well, these are all things that you just don't see with a quick reading. So then they're going to list, again, all the seed. And we talked about Canaan. This was interesting because very rarely in fact, Torah does not even spell this out. It talks about Sidon. It talks about Heth, the Jebusites. It does talk about that. There it is. The Amorite, the Girgashite, the Hivite, the Arkite. But these are people, not men. All the other ones are men. All the other things that we're getting are men. But these are nations. And here it says in Yasher, the sons of Canaan were Zidon, Heth, Amorites, Girgashi, that's where we get the Girgashites, Hivi, that's where we get the Hivites, Arki, that's where we get the Arkites, Seni, that's where we get the Sinites, Arodi is where we get the Arvidites, Zimodi is the Zemarites, and Kamathi is where we get the Kamathites. There's some transliteration going on there, which is why it says Ka versus Ha. You just got to get over that. Again, it helps us to understand, where do these nations come from? We saw that the Amari was the son of the Amorites, and we killed, when we came to take the land for ourselves in Numbers 22, we first came to the east side of the Jordan. We took out Sihon, king of the Amorites, and Og, king of Bashan, both Amorite kings, sons of Canaan. We were supposed to take the land of Canaan, and they were the first ones to be taken. Well, that has implications when we talked about the borders of the land. Because remember, we said Sidon, Gerar, as you go down to Gaza, Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zimri, and Lasha. Where was Lasha? We couldn't find it. Well, I think, here, let me do this. Sidon, up here. Here is Gaza, as you go down to Gerar. Here's Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, Zeboim. But now we're drawing a map. Here's the boundaries of the map. From up here, all the way down to here, up through here. But now, where's the last one? We don't know. I suspect that Lasha is this place, or in this place, near Kanath. Why? I'm glad you asked. It takes in all the land of Sihon, which was from the Yamok River here, all the way down to Arnon. He had just taken this whole area a couple years before from Moab. So we took all this land, all the way up to here, and from here, if you draw a line to Sidon, Sidon's going to be in this area. It's not on this particular map, but it's going to be right about in this area. Here's Tyre, and Sidon is going to be in this area. So here's Bashan, and that's where, remember, his kingdom started at Edrei and went north. So if we took it all the way out to here, which we did have men who dwelt in here when it was all over, and we drew a line from here to Sihon, or to, what did I say that was? No, the firstborn of Canaan. Firstborn of Canaan. Here, I've got it right here. Sidon. Yeah. It would encompass that whole area. That's the land of the Canaanites. Okay, so we left off right in this verse last week when we were talking about where the boundaries of the land were. We had one more verse to finish, and we would have finished all that had to do with the sons of Ham. And this was it. And these were the sons of Ham. Well, look at that. I have sons of Ham. These are Ham's seed. Ham's seed. Let's fix that. These were Ham's seed. Here's the point I wanted to make. It's got the same verbiage as the other three. According to their families, according to their languages, in their lands, and in their nations. You know what? Every time it talked about a new person being born, I put them in this bold underline. All the way down. Japheth's seed, Ham's seed. And I was so amazed when I was done, because I did the same thing with these guys. Actually, I guess I missed a couple, but I counted them. When I was done, the thought occurred to me, oh my goodness, this is the 70 nations that I hear about all the time. All the time I hear about these, and maybe not so much in Torah, but you hear about it in Yasher often. We're going to see Joseph learning the languages of all 70 nations so that he could be second in command on Pharaoh's throne. Wow! Well, so the thought occurred to me, and I thought, I'm going to count all these. And you know how many I ended up with? Exactly 70. Isn't that interesting? Well, let's talk about the sons of Ham, or Shem. This is where we left off last week. The sons of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. Why do I not have my note on that? It says that Arphaxad, here, I know where it's at. It's in 11. Here. Arphaxad. This is the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. Well, Arphaxad, 2 years after the flood, who's firstborn here? Let me cut this. Oops, no, I want to paste it. I'm going to copy it, is what I did. So I want to go back to the last verse, 10:22, and we're going to drop this in here. Paste. Look what it says. The sons of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud. That's the one we're on right now. Elam. The sons of Ham were Elam. Oh, here, that's my problem. Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. But it says 2 years is what that verse said. 2 years. He was born to Shem. Arphaxad was born to Shem 2 years after the flood. I thought, how does that work? Is this the correct birth order? Were Elam and Asher twins? I said, I know for sure this one is out of order. What I'm talking about is this one here. Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Who's the eldest? Haran is the eldest. Then Nahor, and then like 25 years later, Abram is born. So is this another case where we don't have the correct birth order? Remember, we have that going on all the time, don't we? It always says Japheth, or Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth is the elder. Well, why am I saying this? I'm saying this because I think it's important that we always look deeper than what seems correct. Remember, we saw in, it must have been Genesis 6, that in the 500th year, it says, sons were born to Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Again, out of order, but it makes them sound like triplets, doesn't it? Well, we know from Yasher that it's not the case. They call Japheth the elder. Japheth could still be the elder in triplets, couldn't he? But we see that is just not the case in Yasher when those sons are born. Look deeper. Look deeper. Sons, understand sons versus seed. It's going to help you. We're going to see here in just a moment. It's talking about the seed of Shem. Oh, let me finish reading it. The seed of Shem were Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The seed of Aram was Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arphaxad begat Salak. It's really Shalak, just like the sent one. Arphaxad begat Shalak, and Shalak begat Eber. You know what? I think I skipped a verse here. 10:21. It says, the children were born also to Shem. That's not what it says. It says, and these were born even to Shem, the father of Eber's seed, the brother of Japheth the elder. The father of Japheth's seed, of Eber's seed. Why Eber's seed? Why Eber's seed? Why not Peleg's seed? Why not Shalach's seed? Because we're going deeper later on. And they're making us sure who it is that we're talking about. These were born to Shem, the father of Eber's seed, the brother of Japheth. Let's make sure we understand who Shem is. There's no doubt. So then these are all the seed of Shem. Ending with Eber. Look what it says about Eber. To Eber were born 2 sons. Now this is one place where it says sons. All the other places say B'nai. But this one place says Banim. To Eber were born 2 Banim. Why the difference? Because we're going to stop talking about these guys here because the earth is going to be divided. Look what it says. To Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days, not Peleg's days, in Eber's days, we're talking about he's naming his son, for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name is Yakatan. Yakatan. They say Yoktan or Joktan. It's Yakatan. So then it tells us who the sons of Yokatan were. Yokatan had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 sons. All these were the seed of Yokatan. Yokatan. Again, Banim or Bani. Bani, seed. Oh boy, that's tricky sometimes. There it goes. Bani. Or B'nai. A lot of people say B'nai. It's Bani. It goes on. And their dwelling place was from Mashah as you go towards Sephar, the mountain of the east. Where is this stuff? Sometimes you just have to work hard to get it. Let me do this. I want to take you, I actually had a note on this one. Talk about Yemen. What does it say? Western port of Arabia, the mouth of the Tigris and the Euphrates. Then it talks about Shafar to Balis, north of Yemen. Shafar, or Safar, supposed by some to be an ancient Himyaritic capital, Safar, on the Indian Ocean between the Persian Gulf and the Red Sea. Well, do I open? I don't even know that I can open. I don't think my map's going to have that. And I'm certainly not going to try and open my, let's do this. Here's what we're talking about. This is where Yemen is at, right down here. And I think the mountain Shafar that we're talking about is in this area. Okay, it's between the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf on the Indian Ocean. This is what we're talking about, this very place. But these sons are pretty much filling out from here. It said at the entrance of the Tigris and the Euphrates, from this area all the way down to this area is what it seems that the sons of Yoktan were talking about. Now, why does he give them a particular place? I don't know. Again, there's always questions in our minds that we just have to We have to put them in our minds. Okay, well, maybe we'll get an answer to that someday. Let's file it for future reference. Let's see. There we go. All right, last two verses in this chapter. These were Shem's seed. Look at same verbiage. According to their families, according to their language, in their lands, according to their nations. These are the families of Noah's seed. So now that was Shem. That was the end of Shem. Remember, Yehovah is so organized. He really is. He gives the big picture. He breaks it down. Now he's given the last of it is the fulfilling of the big picture. These were the families of Noah's seed, according to their generations in their nations. From these, the nations were divided on the earth after the flood. This is where the 70 nations come from. Oh my goodness. You know what? I'm sure other people have noticed this. But for me, I don't read other people's stuff. I do not read commentaries. I don't care what other people have to see. They can't see what I see. They don't understand the Ezra and the Ger. They don't understand the role of a man and the role of a man's woman. They don't get it. So I don't spend any time reading commentaries. I have too much to do just reading the Torah and learning it. So for me to see and understand this is the 70 nations is amazing. I love finding these little bits and pieces. Like I say, there's other people who know about the 70 nations that knew this was in here. But I did it by underlining all these sons and then understanding it in the context of seeing 3 times them saying, separated into their lands according to his languages, according to their families. Oh, it's so neat to start to see how things fall together. Well, again, this is kind of the big picture. Talks about the nations were divided after the flood. When were the nations divided? When were the nations divided on the earth after the flood?
After the Tower of Babel.
Right. Carrie says after the Tower of Babel. We haven't had the Tower of Babel yet, have we? No, that's the next chapter. We're being introduced. This is the big picture. Now we're going to be introduced to what's going on at the Tower of Babel. Let's go there. Chapter 11. This is the last chapter that we're going to do before we spend a whole bunch of time, probably 2, maybe 3 weeks in Yasher. And we're going to learn some amazing things about a man, a righteous man, a man who loved Yehovah since he was 3 years old, named Abram. Ooh, I love Abram. He's my favorite Bible character. Yeah, Abram. Gary says, Abram. Yeah. Soft. Abram. Okay, let's begin chapter 11. It says, now the whole earth had one language and one speech. Okay, that's what we're talking about back in chapter 10. We all had the same language. We all had the same speech. All those families. It says, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. Who is they? The whole earth? Well, you could argue it is. But I think there's more to this story. Who is leading these people. Listen to what it says next. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks, bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone, and they had asphalt for mortar. And they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is towards heaven. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered upon the face of the earth." Okay? Yasher provides some very interesting information for us. First of all, we got to understand whose kingdom it is that we're building. 10:10 says, "And the beginning of his," we're talking about Nimrod's kingdom, "was Babel." That's what we just talked about in our last chapter. The beginning of his kingdom. Who's building whose kingdom? Is this Yehovah's kingdom being built? Remember, Yehovah said what? Be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. What are they saying? Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is to heaven. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the earth. Are these guys operating in obedience to Yehovah? Or are they doing their own thing? Here's a note I put together. This is Nimrod. Nimrod, he's at the top of the heap. He's the mighty one. He's the one that wants to build a tower. This is a relief. But he's the one who wants to build a tower. And we're going to see that it is his princes with him who want to make a name for themselves. Let's find out who those princes are. It says, then, let me move this up. Then they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks, bake them thoroughly." They had brick for stone. Didn't have stone, but they had brick. And they had asphalt for mortar. This is interesting. First of all, who's they? Who is the they who are speaking? The answer, what's that?
Ham seed.
Yeah. Carrie says ham seed. Listen, he's right. Listen to what it says. The answer can be found in Yasher and is available in the study notes for the next verse. Here, let me go to the next verse real quick. Maybe I moved him. We're going to stop. Sorry. Well, I don't even see anything from Yasher in here. No. Let's continue. Bricks are made by men. Stones are made by Elohim. They made bricks. When we build something for Yehovah, what do we build it out of?
Natural stone.
Natural stone. Uncut stone.
Not defiled by man.
Yeah. Can't have a metal bent on it. So they're making brick. Bricks are made by men. Stones are made by Elohim. Religion is made by men. Torah is made by Elohim. We, Yehovah's Ezra men, are living stones made by him. Now, this is a New Testament verse, and I don't like to use the New Testament, and this is one of the reasons, as the last thing they say here. But it's true what Peter's saying, the beginning of it. He says, coming to him as living stone, rejected indeed by men, but chosen by Elohim and precious. You know what? I have been rejected by men. I've been rejected by my family. I've been rejected by my friends. I've been rejected by the world. But I am precious to my heavenly Father as an Ezra man, a man who's left the kingdom of his birth and then come into covenant with him at Passover. This is who we're talking about. Coming to him as a living stone, rejected indeed by men, but chosen of Elohim and precious. You also are living stones. Well, you know what? Just because it says you also are living stones doesn't mean you're living stones. Are you Ezra men? Then you're not living stones. A holy priesthood to offer up spiritual slaughters. Spiritual slaughters. They say spiritual sacrifices. There's no word for sacrifices in Torah. We either shakat, kill our animals, or we slaughter them and we eat the flesh after we give the blood on the altar and the fat to Yehovah. A sweet aroma to him. Offer up spiritual slaughters acceptable to Elohim. But now look what it says. Through Jesus Christ. The Catholic Church has perverted the scriptures. Bricks will crumble in time. They are a mixture of substances. Yehovah does not like mixtures. All bricks look alike. Stones look different. Ooh, isn't it amazing the things that we can see when we think about this more? You know what? The New World Order. And this is what's going on here in Nimrod's kingdom right now. The state and religion all want everyone to look alike. In their kingdom, men and women are equal and have the same duties and responsibilities. Is that what's going to happen in our Father's kingdom? The answer is no, no, no. May it never be. So here they said, come, let us make. Well, you know what? Something is wrong. I built ourselves a city. What happened to my notes?
Did you transfer them?
I don't know. Yeah, I did transfer them. Sometimes my notes can get moved to a different spot. I've lost it. I wanted you to see, and I guess we're just going to have to wait a bit longer. But we're going to say when it says, come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower whose top is to heaven. Let us make a name for ourselves, lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the earth. That was Ham's sons, Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, Canaan, who were the princes, get this, of Nimrod. Nimrod is the head of his uncles. And they're the ones in Yasher who said, let us build a city and a tower for ourselves, that we may not be scattered over the face of the earth. See, they want to be the ones who are leading the world. They don't want to be the servants in the world, do they? Oops, that didn't work. Scattered, S-C-A-T-T-E-R-E-D. Let's see if we can find it real quick. We may become Yeah, here it is, right here. Good. All right. Let me close this. I don't know what chapter this is, but this is a chapter we're going to get to real quick. And I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. And King Nimrod reigned securely, and all the earth was under his control. All the earth. They came into this valley and were going to build themselves a city. All the earth. King Nimrod reigned. The mighty man, the one who got the garments when he was 20 years old and became strong, the profaned mighty one, took the garments to make Ham's seed rule over his brothers because Ham was mad at his brothers, didn't have the respect of the household. And all the princes of Nimrod, his great men, took counsel together. Who were they? I'm glad you asked. Put, Mitzrayim, Cush, Canaan, with their families. Here. These are the head guys. These are the head guys, the Elohim of their families. Of course they're the princes. All Ham's sons, his father, and uncles is who we're talking about. His princes are his father and uncles. What did they say? And they said to each other, come, let us build ourselves a city, and in it a strong tower, and its top reaching to heaven, and we will make ourselves famed. We will make ourselves a name. Forget raising up Yehovah's name in the earth. We want to raise up our name in the earth, so that we may reign upon the whole world, in order that the evil of our enemies may cease from us, that we may reign mightily over them. Who's their enemies?
Shem and Japheth.
Shem and Japheth. Exactly. That's all there is left. They represent the whole family of Ham. Only ones left are Japheth's seed and Shem's seed. That we may reign mightily over them, and that we may not be scattered over the earth on account of their wars. You see what's going on here? This is direct defiance to Yehovah, who said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Fruitful. What are we talking about? Doing the things that Yehovah expects from us. Then, really, and becoming the man that Yehovah expects us to be, the Ezra man, the one who's come back to him, the spiritual man, the one who's supposed to lead the people of the earth. Wow. We will lead the people of the earth again. Yehovah said, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. He said it again, Genesis 8. Well, he said it twice. May abound on the earth, creeping things, and be fruitful and multiply on the earth. But what did they do? They said, let's build a tower lest we be scattered abroad over the face of the earth. Well, you know what? Yehovah always gets his way. Every time. Don't bet against that. He says the wicked are going to perish from the earth, but the righteous shall never be removed. Okay, he says that many times in the scriptures. Don't bet on being a wicked man and being part of the millennial kingdom. It isn't going to happen. Only the spiritual born men are going to be the leaders of that spiritual kingdom. And you either have enough sense to get to them and submit yourselves to them, or you will perish from the earth. Yehovah is going to get his way. They're building a tower so that they don't have to be scattered. Right now we're building what? A new world order. One religion. One society. Isn't this exactly the same thing that we're doing? Folks, Yehovah is going to get his way. The righteous men are going to rule over the unrighteous men. You know, we talk about the seed of Ham. Right now, the seed is so perverse. Ham mixed with Shem, mixed with Japheth, all over the earth. What are we talking about? When Yehovah was telling Shem and Ham that these men were going to be their servants. Oh, I'm sorry. Shem and Japheth, that the sons of the seed of Ham are going to be their servants, right? Yeah. Thanks, Carrie. See, it's really great when Carrie is alert and can help me with that, because I say it wrong sometimes. I'm sorry. My point, is it about the seed or is it about the spirit? You know what? There's a lot of men out there who will say that if you're black, you're Ham seed and you're supposed to be subservient. I rebel to that concept. That's not a pure concept. And in these last days, it's going to be the spiritual men who are going to rule over the earth. You either come and join them and become their servants like Yehovah said, or you're going to perish from the earth. Do you understand what I'm saying? When you do, you're going to be their servants in the millennial kingdom. If you make it, I think you will. Certainly, the Ezra men's, like Noah, his women, his sons, and their women made it. If they had had children, they would have made it. But what about servants? I could show you some things in Joel 2 that would indicate to me that the servants are going to make it also. So we're going to see a large group of people coming from this world into the next, the millennial kingdom, just like Noah came from the antediluvian kingdom into this world. We're all the sons of Abram right now, or sons of Noah right now, the seed of Noah. But some of us are becoming Israel's seed, spiritually born men. That's our goal. And it's those spiritually born men that are going to lead the earth once again. Right now, sons of Ham, wicked men, are trying to rule the earth. That's the Bilderbergers. That's the money makers of the world. Yeah, the Rockefellers and no, I wasn't. They're little guys. He's saying Clintons. I was thinking about Rothschilds and those kinds of people. Yeah, I was looking for big ones. Those are the men that are like the what are we just talking about? Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Canaan. Yeah, big guys. Big guys. They're the heads that are trying to rule the world right now, but they're not going to get their way. The world's going to come down, collapsing on them, just like the Tower of Babel is going to fall down. Well, Let's go to verse 5. What did I do? Yeah, I did that. This is the first time in Torah, really the only time in Torah, where it talks about the sons of Ha-Adam. B'nai, I said the sons of Ha-Adam. Man's seed. The man's seed. Ha-Adam's B'nai is actually what it's saying. B'nai Ha-Adam. B'nai Ha-Adam. Ha-Adam's seed. The man's seed. Remember, in the garden we sinned, and a new kind was created. That new kind is what's in the earth right now. Ha-Adam's seed. Wicked men, the seed of Belial is the opposite of the seed of Israel. Israel's seed, B'nai Israel. B'nai Belial is Belial's seed. I wrote an article about that. You can find it on my blog. Just do a search for Belial. Interesting stuff. But when we got kicked out of the garden, this new kind, which Yehovah never intended, remember, he had to keep away from the tree of life. Let's eat from it and live forever. Oh no, we can't have that. But the whole point and the whole good news of Yehovah's kingdom is what? We can become the men we were meant to be in the garden, and once again have access to the tree of life. How does that happen? By leaving the kingdom of our birth, becoming Ger, and then at Passover, circumcising ourselves, all the men of our households, and becoming his Ezra men, the spiritually born men, Israel's seed. Ooh, you want to become the Ezra man so you can be great on the earth. The men who will become Israel's seed are the ones who are going to lead kingdoms in the millennial kingdom. They're going to lead in their area. They're going to be the top dog. Because Yehovah can trust these men who have Torah written in their hearts. Well, I'm not getting very far very fast, am I? Let's continue. Verse 6. And Yehovah said, indeed, the people are one, and they have all one language. And that is what they begin, and this is what they begin to do. No, now nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Okay, who are the people that we're talking about? Okay, we were just talking about them. Ha-Adam's seed. That's who we're talking about. The people. I put, why is nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them a problem? Well, we learned that in 6. It says, then Yehovah saw that the wickedness of the man, Ha-Adam, remember, Ha-Adam was created in his image originally, was great on the earth, and that every intent and thought of his heart was only evil continually. Can't have people like this doing whatever they want. Nothing that they propose to do will be withheld from them. Gotta make a change. And that is exactly what Yehovah is going to do. He says, look what it says, come, let us go down, and there confuse their language, that they may understand one, and they may not understand one another's speech. Well, you know, there's people out here that will use this verse, us. Who's us? They want to make it Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. No, who is us? I think it's the royal we. It might involve the angels, but it's still the royal we that we're talking about. I talk about when I talk about we are Israel. We're talking about I often use we here at We Are Israel. Well, there's really not a we. There's just a me, isn't there? But I have supporters. I have other people. There's a we there. It's the royal we. It says it may involve angels doing Yehovah's bidding, but the action of these verbs seems to be on her. On her. Who's her? Could her be Babylon? He seems to be dividing Babylon over the face of the earth. And this is what we have today. Babylon has been divided. But you know what? These places, in each one of these nations, where's Babylon? People will say, well, it's in New York, it's in Iraq, it's in Washington. They'll pick all these different places of the world where this supposedly be. But I'm here to tell you, Babylon is really a state of mind. It has to do with who you serve. If you're not serving Yehovah exclusively, check your wallet. You can find out who you serve. Ladies, you're supposed to be serving only your man. Men, you're supposed to be serving only Yehovah. If you're serving anybody but Yehovah, you're serving in Babylon. And that's why we are supposed to come out of her. Here, this is Isaiah 47. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Virgin daughter of Babylon. I love that. That means you were never Yehovah's. You've always been Babylon's, and you're faithful to Babylon. I love America. USA! Land of the free, home of the brave. Wasn't that perfect for today? The 4th of July. I hate the 4th of July. Come down, let us and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground without a throne, O daughter of the Chaldees. You're not my daughter. For you shall no longer be called tender and delicate. He goes on, I will not. Something with Adam, a man. The lower nature man. Here, watch, we can do this. I can add a verse to this. Oh, I went to it anyway. I will not. For you shall no more be called tender and delicate. Here it is. And I will not arbitrate with a man, an Adam. No, he doesn't mess with Adam. He works with his spiritually born men. Ish. Ooh, so much to learn. Let's go back. He says, this is the translation that I worked out for this. Come and we will descend. It says, we will confound her. Language. Babylon's language there. That the Enosh, look at, they put what? That they may not understand one another's speech. Okay, does that say anything about men? The answer is no. If we're going to say, I don't understand one another's speech, we tend to think, well, that's women too, isn't it? But what are we talking about? Look what it says in here. That the Enosh, this is mortal men. This is the Adam that we're talking about. Will not understand his friends, his companions' speech. Well, again, it's not about the women because they follow their man. It's about the men. It's about the men. Can't understand his speech anymore. But I understand my family's speech. My family understands my speech. Our speech has been divided. Well, some other people did a better job of doing it. Not perfect, but better. Come on, let us go down. This is Urban Bible. And they're confused their speech, that they may not understand each man the speech of his friend. Here's another one. Young's literal translation. Give us help. Let us go down and mingle there. pronunciation, so that a man does not understand the pronunciation of his companion. Again, it's about men. It's not about women. Okay, subtleties in the scriptures, but these are very important things that we've got to learn to understand. So here it says, let us go down. Look at what this says, the very next verse, and the next verse after that. Check it out. So Yehovah scattered them abroad from there over the face of the earth, and they ceased building the city. Who scattered them? Us or Yehovah? Okay? Again, don't build your theology based on one stupid verse. We've seen many times. We've seen it today. We're going to see it at the end of this chapter. There is confusion in Torah that we've got to get past. Things that will lead you astray. Did Yehovah really tell us that we can eat every animal? Even though Noah knew what was a clean animal and what was an unclean animal when he went on the ark? Don't build your theology on one verse. It will get you killed. There's more to understand. So Yehovah scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth, and they ceased building the city. Therefore, its name is called Babel, because there Yehovah confused the language of the earth. And from there, Yehovah scattered them abroad over the face of all the earth. Yehovah said, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth. You know what? He can't force us to be fruitful, but he can kill us if we're not. But in this case, he definitely scattered them, didn't he? They didn't have any choice about that. Then he goes on. We're changing gears now. New thought. The scattering is done. The tower's done. Cush, Mitzrayim, Put, and Canaan have lost their authority. They're now getting pushed all over the earth, aren't they? Cush and Nimrod are going to stay in the Babylon area. Mitzrayim is going to go down to Egypt. Canaan is going to go into the land of Canaan, our future land. And Put, I don't know what happened to Puts. I'd have to do some research on that. But we got scattered. Not building a tower and a kingdom for ourselves anymore. But Babylon is still a nation to be reckoned with. We're switching now to the genealogy of Shem. We're going to pick it up from the beginning, really. Look at what it says. This is the genealogy of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood. Well, Shem begat 4 sons, didn't he? Arphaxad was one of the sons. But we're not maybe I should say, the other sons are not important to us right now because we're talking about the genealogy that is going down to Abram, a righteous man. And you're going to see a system, a pattern, maybe is a better word, in all of these. Arphaxad, 2 years after the flood. After he begat Arphaxad, Shem lived, let me see what my note is here for this. 2 years, how does that work? Is this the correct birth order? Yeah, remember we were talking about Elam and Asher were the 2 older brothers of Arphaxad. Maybe one of them was born on or during the voyage, Because they could easily, what do they have to do? One was born from the, see, it says 2 years after the flood, though. So 2 years after the flood, when they talk about 2 years after the flood, they're not talking about after we got off the ark. We're talking about when we got on the ark. We were on the ark for a whole year, weren't we? Well, what did we have to do in our spare time on the ark?
Whoopee.
Yeah, Carrie says make whoopee. Maybe there was twins born. So if one was born before they even got off the ark. Doesn't talk about the kids. It just talks about women and sons exiting the ark. But there could have been kids that they did not mention. I wouldn't think that would be a problem at all. So then they'd have one as they're getting off the ark. They could have another one in the oven, and have him born in the. Well, still, we got to get 2 years. It says in the second year after the flood. I don't know how it works. Maybe there was a set of twins. That's all I can figure. Or again, maybe that's just not the birth order. Let's move on. He begat Arphaxad. After he begat Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and begat sons and daughters. Shem's going to live 500 years after the flood. He's going to outlive Abraham. Did you know that? Oh, that's pretty amazing stuff. I put an article out on that here just recently. Once again, it's been written long ago. Arphaxad lived 35 years and begat Shalach. That's what I said, Shalach. Arphaxad begat Shalach. Shalach begat Eber. After he begat Arphaxad, or after he begat Shelah, Arphaxad lived 403 years and begat sons and daughters. All these guys are begatting sons and daughters. But there's only one that's important. Where, as Arphaxad, a righteous man, was Shelah, a righteous man, was Eber, a righteous man. Well, we don't really know, do we? Just because they're in this line does not necessarily mean that they were a righteous men. We know that the father of Noah, Lamech, was not a righteous man. Where his father was Methuselah, a righteous man. Okay, so it changes. You got to do the research. Just don't make assumptions. Eber lived 34 years and begat Peleg. After he begat Peleg, it says, for in his days, here, this is the last chapter, to Eber were born 2 sons, Benim. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days, again, Eber's days, the earth was divided. He named his son Peleg because during Eber's years, the earth was divided. That's what we're talking about. The 70 nations were formed. After he got Peleg, Eber lived 430 years, and begat sons and daughters. Peleg lived 30 years and begat Ra'u. After he begat Ra'u, Peleg lived 209 years and begat sons and daughters. Well, you know what? Are these all firstborn men? Isn't that kind of what we assume? Okay, we can't assume that.
No.
We can't assume that. We'll see that here when we talk about Abraham. Or Abram. Abram, yeah. Okay. After he got Ra'u, Peleg lived 209 years and begat sons and daughters. Ra'u lived 32 years and begat Sarug. After he begat Sarug, Ra'u lived 207 years and begat sons and daughters. You know what? When I read this, probably for the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th time, I finally decided I'm going to put a thing together. And I started to see who was alive coexisting, because you see these guys, and in our minds, again, we go back to our own ideas. My grandfather's dead. Okay, so we just assume Sereg, when Terah was born, Sereg is long gone. But that isn't the case. We assume that when Terah was born, that Shem was gone. Noah was gone. All these guys are alive. And so I decided I needed to find out more. And I put together a chart for myself. And then I went on a search on the internet, and I found this chart. It's called Age Charts. And I'll give you the link to it right now so you can have it. It's a really valuable tool. I have it in my public. And this is it right here. Let me copy it first before I open it. Copy public link. Here it is. And while that's opening, I'm going to go back to my conference room here and give you the link so you can copy this and then download it. Is that going to go? I guess I'm going to do that. Okay. So that should come up for all of you. I think you can click on that. And when it opens, save it. Save it. And you'll have a copy for yourself. It's really a useful tool. Okay. Back to my map. Here it is. This is after the flood. And here's Shem. Look at this. Here's Noah. Noah outlived Peleg. He outlived Raul. No, he didn't outlive Raul. He outlived Peleg. He outlived Nahor. Shem outlives everybody but Eber until like Isaac. Isaac and Jacob sat on Shem's lap. Can you imagine? I mean, does that blow your minds? But see, if you just go through these genealogies and don't really take the time to search it out, I would never have found this wonderful chart if I hadn't done the work ahead of time to know what I was looking for on the internet. But boy, when you find it, it's like finding gold, because it helps us see so much more. Back to the scriptures. After he begat Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and begat sons and daughters. Nahor lived 29 years and begat Terah. Remember, Terah is now going to be the father of Abraham. After he begat Terah, Nahor lived 119 years and begat sons and daughters. And Terah lived 70 years and begat who? It says Abraham. Well, we know for sure that it was Haran that was the firstborn. And Nahor, who is named after Terah's father, was the secondborn. And that Abraham was the son of Terah's old age. Ooh, we're going to go into that next week. It's amazing to see how that all works out. How Haran died, why Haran died. Oh my gosh, wait till you see. It's going to surprise you. You fence sitters, don't be like Haran. You're going to be killed in the last days. Hot or cold, don't be lukewarm. Haran was the lukewarm man, and he died for it. Ooh. So here is Terah. It says, Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, Haran. 70 years. You know what? We worked this out. This makes it look like Abram was the firstborn of Terah, doesn't it? Isn't that the assumption that we would make?
Mm.
Okay, it's a wrong assumption. It's erroneous, and it's going to cause problems for us. Haran and Nahor were born well before Abram. Here, this is Yasher 7:22, and Peleg, his brother, begat Reuel. It says Yen. His name is Reuel, and Yen begat Serug. Serug begat Nahor. Nahor begat Terah. Terah was 38 years old, and he begat Haran and Nahor. 38 years old, he begat Haran and Nahor. Okay, makes it sound like they're twins, doesn't it? But now look what it says. Haran was 42 years old when he begat Sarai. And he begat Sarai, and which was in the 10th year of the life of Abram. And in those days, so here's Haran, 42 years old when he begat Abram. He was born when Terah was 38. So if we add 38 to 42, we get what? Here it is right here, 38. I want you to see this. Terah's age when he begat Haran, 38 years old. Make this a bigger so it works better. Then 42 is Haran's age when he begat Sarai. Okay, we know that Sarai is how much older than Abram? I'm sorry, younger than Abram. She's 10 years younger than Abram. So if we subtract the 80 from the 10, we come out with Terah's age when Abram is born. And look at that. It works out perfectly. Terah was 70 years old when he begat Abram. Okay? He didn't begat Nahor when he was 70 years old. He begat Nahor and Haran, well, he begat Haran when he was 38 years old. Nahor was the younger brother, a couple of years younger. He's going to be born when he's like 40 years old. But Abram was born when he was 70 years old. So again, you got to work it out. There's more to the scriptures. These guys aren't twins, are triplets.
In his old age.
Yeah, he was born in his old age. We'll see it in there. Here, flood to the birth of Noah equals 292 years. Cush. And Cush, the son of Ham, the son of Noah, probably seed of Noah, took a woman in those days, in his old age, and she bare a son and called his name Nimrod. Look at this. Called his name Nimrod. At that time, okay, what's going on? This is when Haran is being born. The same time period. At that time, Adam's seed began to rebel and transgress against Elohim. And the child grew up, and his father loved him exceedingly, for he was the son of his old age. Okay, that's, I guess we don't have a date on that one. Nimrod is 215 years old when he dies at the hand of Esau. Did you know that Esau killed Nimrod? Do you know why Esau killed Nimrod? Oh my gosh, this is just one thing goes on to the next. Esau killed Nimrod because he wanted to get the clothes, the garments.
Well, Nimrod wanted to kill him.
So he killed Nimrod, got the garments, and it was the very same day that he came back and sold his birthright, the double portion, for a bowl of porridge. Why? Because he had visions of grandeur, of ruling the earth, and he didn't need no stinking birthrights. That's the rest of the story. And that's an amazing story that we overlook. Okay, going back. This is the genealogy of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begat Lot. Haran begat Lot. All right. Well, if Haran begat Lot, we're going to see later on that there's more children who are beget. Here, I think I might even have a note about that.
By Nahor.
Not by Nahor. Haran.
Haran.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Haran. We're going to see who Haran begat. I guess we'll see it a little bit further down. Okay, so this is the genealogy of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, Haran. Again, completely out of order and way off by, what's the difference between 42 years. 42 years between the birth of one and the birth of the next. And Haran died before his father Terah in his native land in Ur of the Chaldees. Okay, how did Haran die? We will see in Yasher that he was a lukewarm man. Ooh, that is just an amazing story. Then Abram and Nahor. Here, I did a better translation of this. Then Abram and Nahor took women. Okay, this is after the death of Haran. We have to ask ourselves, why is he taking these women? Let's read that. Let's read first what it says in the New King James. Then Abram and Nahor took wives. Okay, there is no word for wife in Torah. Get over it. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai. The name of Nahor's wife, Milcah. The daughter of Haran. Milcah was the daughter of Haran. Ha'at was the daughter of Haran. But then look at what it says. The daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah. What? That sounds a bit redundant. And then it says, the father of Iscah. Who the heck is Iscah? Why, but this verse has many problems. It does not identify who is the father of Sarai. Doesn't tell you at all. We don't know where Sarai comes from. It gives Milcah's father's identity twice. And it does not say if Iscah is a son or a daughter of Haran. We don't know any of that stuff, do we? I think this verse probably should say daughters of Haran. Milcah and Sarai as the daughters of Haran. That's my guess. Because, well, first of all, let me just read my thing. Again, see where it says the name of there's no definite article. The name. The daughter of Haran. They add so many. This the is added, and this the is added. Of their Abram's woman. Sarai. Abram's woman. Woman's name. Abram's woman's name was Sarai. Nahor's woman's name was Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah. Again, confusion. Here's what it says in Yasher. And this really helps us to understand even some biblical principles. And Haran, the son of Terah, Abram's oldest brother, took a woman in those days. Haran was 39 years old when he took her. And the woman of Haran conceived and bare a son and called his name Lot. And she conceived again and bare a daughter and called her name Milcah. And she again conceived and bare a daughter and called her name Sarai. Oh, do you see what's going on? He begets the man, but he doesn't talk about the daughters. It's said just up here in 27. This is the genealogy of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Haran begat Lot. But it doesn't talk about Milcah or Sarai. Why? Because they're women. They don't list the women.
Unless they're important.
Yeah, Carrie says unless they're important, unless they're going to usually give birth to a righteous man. That's when they talk about the woman. They mentioned Adam's wife once, maybe twice in the scriptures, but all the rest of the time she's always Adam and his woman, or Adam and his woman, one of the two. Noah's woman, she's named once as Naamah. No, she's not even named. She's not even named in Torah.
No.
She's not. They do mention a Naamah, but they don't really tell you that she is going to be Noah's woman. But she's named once, but not as his wife. Well, again, so much more to understand. So, what happens here? Here it says in 12, and at that time Nahor and Abram took unto themselves wives, the daughter of their brother Haran. The daughters of their brother Haran. Why? Because they did not have a covering any longer, and they were the near of kin for their brothers' widows, their brothers' orphans in this case. So they took the girls to themselves and married them. They married their nieces. Nahor took Milcah, Abram took Sarai, and Sarai's woman, and Sarai, Abram's woman, was barren. She had no offspring in those days. Well, we know that in Torah it tells us that Israel, spiritually born men, are to take care of their widows and their orphans. We don't take care of widows and orphans all over the world. We take care of our widows and orphans. That's what Yehovah is telling us. We'll talk about this later on as we go through, it must be probably Numbers, that we're going to take care of the widows and the orphans. Kin take care of kin, their widows and their orphans. Sarai and Milcah are adult orphans. Abram is around 50 years old when he's going to take these two women, maybe 51. That makes Sarai, who's 10 years younger than he, how old? 40. Well, we can go into some of these other kinds of things. He says, but she is truly my sister. She, Sarah, is the daughter of my father. The daughter of my father? No, she's the daughter of my father's brother is who she is, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my woman. The whole thing is convoluted. She is the daughter of Abram's brother. I put the above statement is more of a lie to Abimelech than we thought, for Sarai appears to be Abram's niece. He was 10 years older than she. Abram is about 50 when he takes Sarai as his woman. Well, again, you know what? It helps us to understand how it all fits together as we begin to see the life of Abraham come together. Ooh, it's amazing. I've got on my notes, and my notes are available to anybody who wants them. I have Abram life of, and I have all the things that happened in Abram's life from the time he was born and gone into the cave. I could probably even add some things about 3-year-olds and other things. But from the time he lived in the cave till the time he was 175 years old, we know things that happened in Abraham's life or Abram's life to start. My notes are available. If you'd like to have my eSword notes, there's massive things in here that I would be very, very happy to give you. Just go to my blog, do a search for the eSword, and follow the instructions. Then give me a call, and I'll be glad to give you all my study notes, my topic notes, and my study notes, my topic notes, and my highlights. These are the highlights, the underlines, and the colors. Carrie's telling me it's already time. Doggone it. Okay, well, we almost got through with this chapter. Not quite. We'll have to finish it next week. And after we do that, we'll only be on it for just a few minutes, I suppose. But then we're going to get to turn to Yasher and see how this lineage, some of the lineage that we went through even today, and the dividing of the earth and the Tower of Babel. Oh, there's so much to see. We're probably going to be in Yasher, I would guess 3, maybe even 4 weeks. But there is just a wealth of information that is going to help us explain things like this today. Sarai, the daughter of Nahor, Sarai, and the name, Abram's wife was Sarai, the name of Nahor's wife, Milcah, the brother of Haran, oh my gosh, confusion. Anyway, we're going to see how it all fits together. Yasher really brings us some wonderful lights. So, hey, thank you for joining me today. Michael Didier signing off. I'm glad you were able to join us. Please, 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 if you are a YouTube member, subscribe to my channel. Start reading. If this is the first time you've heard me, start reading from Genesis 1. Torah builds on itself. It's a wonderful journey. And if you will start learning, the lights are going to come on and become very clear in your mind as we see this wonderful message of Yehovah being painted before our eyes. He says, who can understand the message? Those just drawn from the breast? Are those just drawn from milk? Those just taken from the breast? No. He says, the message is understood line upon line, precept upon precept. Here a little, there a little. Well, we're going to get a little more next week. Hey, thanks for joining me. Catch y'all later. Bye now.